For today's video, I'm going to be going over the basics of hitting jumps on skis. A lot of you guys saw the video I made a few days ago where I went over how to hit bigger jumps on skis. And a lot of people were commenting and were a little bit confused. They were like, well, why don't you go over pop or some of the more basic things about hitting jumps? The point of that video was more about hitting big jumps, already assuming you could hit a smaller jump. So that's what today's video is going to be about. I'm just going to more go over the techniques of hitting basic, smaller, and more medium-sized jumps on skis. And if you're a bit more advanced and you want to know how to hit big jumps on skis, you can check out the other video I made. But if you're more of a beginner or you just want to know more about hitting jumps, this video is going to be for you. So the first thing we're going to go over when you're coming in to hit a jump is going to be your stance. Your stance is super important for how you come off the takeoff here. Now the first thing we're going to go over is just going to be your ski width. When I'm coming into the takeoff here, it's about shoulder width apart. It can be a little bit narrower, that's fine as well, but usually around shoulder width is going to be perfect. And notice how my arms are right in front of me here, kind of this athletic stance with my knees here slightly bent. You don't want to be super stiff when you're coming into the jump, so all these things are going to be pretty important. And the most important thing, if you get anything out of this video, make sure that your shins are pressed into the front of your boots. This is super important because otherwise you're going to land back seat. The reason why is because the jump is coming up at an angle like this, so it's naturally going to shoot you backwards. So if you're not pressed into the front of your boots and your shins aren't pushed into the front of your boots, you're going to go with the takeoff of the jump, which is going to send you back seat. So if you don't want to land back seat, make sure that you're pressing your shins into the front of your boots. It's really going to help a lot. Now, another common mistake a lot of people make is they go way too slow to hit the jump. You want to land in the sweet spot of the jump, so I can show you what that looks like on this video here. I'm coming off the lip here, clearing the knuckle, and then I'm landing right here. So the end of the landing, somewhere around here, this is going to be way too far. You don't want to land over here because obviously that's going to be overshooting it and that's going to hurt, but I think that's a little bit more rare. Most people, they land and they end up going too short, so it's a little bit hard to see on this video, but right down here is going to be the knuckle, and you don't want to land on the knuckle or anywhere near the knuckle. So between the knuckle and the end of the landing, that's going to be the sweet spot, and that's where you want to land. Most people do an extra speed check, especially when they're a little bit scared and they go way too slow. So make sure that you go a little bit faster than you probably think you need to, and make sure that you're landing in the sweet spot of the jump. If you don't know the speed, you can always follow someone in or watch someone hit the jump as well. That's something that I usually do, especially when I'm hitting a little bit bigger jumps. And also when you're coming into the jump, just make sure that you're coming in straight here. So you notice how on this one, I'm coming in straight to the jump. I'm not, carving on the takeoff or anything because that's a little bit more advanced. And that's not what you want to be doing on a straighter. So you want to make sure that you're coming straight into the jump, good stance, and with plenty of speed. Now, right when you're about to pop off the lip, this is where a lot of people go wrong as well. You don't just want to slide off the takeoff. You want to make sure that you're popping off the lip. Pop basically just means that you're jumping at the end of the lip. You're loading up with your legs and you're jumping so you can get a little bit of extra height, and you're actually going with the flow of the jump, and you're not just letting the jump decide where to throw you. You're actually going with the takeoff of the jump. You're not just sliding off of it. You're popping off of it with proper form. So on this POV video I have here, I'm doing proper form on this one. I hit a couple different jumps in a row. So you notice here how I'm popping, and right at the end of the takeoff here, this is when you want to time the pop. You don't want to if you're popping somewhere over here when you're already in the air, obviously that's way too late, or if you're popping down here, that's going to be too early. You want to pop basically right at the end of the takeoff, right here. Right when your skis are coming right off of the lip of the jump, that's when you want to pop. And it doesn't need to be anything crazy, but just to make sure that the jump isn't deciding where you're going and make sure you're popping at the end of the jump is going to be super helpful. So now when you put everything you just learned together, it should look something like this. Coming out of the jump at proper speed, pop. Did a little shifty there for some extra style. Notice how I have a really good stance here off the takeoff, shins in the front of your boots. And hopefully your first jump hit will look something like that. Hitting jumps on skis doesn't really have to be that complicated or that scary. I would say the biggest takeaways from this video are just coming into the jump, making sure you have enough speed, pressing the shins into the front of your boots, and making sure that you're popping and timing your pop right at the end of the takeoff. Those three things are going to be the most important for hitting your first jump on skis. And if you want help with any of the tricks done in this video or your straight airs or anything else, I can help you with that in the top link in the description. Peace!